Hey guys, here's some writing tips. I want to talk about continuity. Now, I know that I have a lot of videos on a lot of different topics, so if you're not interested in hearing about writing, just go to my other playlists. I have playlists on narcissism, on life coaching topics, on art, lots of different things. But this one's going to be about writing tips, specifically for novels. So, it is really hard when you're writing novels to deal with the continuity problems. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about when in chapter 1 your character is an engineer, and then in chapter 10 they're a teacher. And it's like, wait, what? And this really makes the reader angry, and rightfully so. We have the same problem that happens in movies, right? When you notice someone's eating something and then the camera pans away and it pans back and they're eating something else, and it's like, they had a muffin. Where did the muffin go? Now they have oatmeal. What? Now, it's difficult to keep track of this stuff, though, isn't it? Because when you're writing a big, complicated novel, or even a small novel, there's just a lot of details to keep track of. You have to remember everything that every character ever said that is a quote-unquote fact. I mean, it's fiction, but it's still a fact in that novel. Having your novel make sense is one of the most important things, because when writing doesn't make sense, it's the number one way to piss off your reader. Really, it is. It's the same as when you're talking to somebody and their story doesn't make any sense, and you're like, wait, that doesn't add up. That's not what we talked about. What are you talking about? It's very annoying. So what do you do about this? You have to keep track of all the facts in your book. Now, you can do this as you write, before you write, or after you write. It really doesn't matter. I have been using cute little journals. I have a separate video on that, how you can make a bullet journal to keep track of your novel, and I find it works really well to have chapter summaries where I include the facts that happened in that chapter, and I have like a long chapter summary and a short chapter summary as a way to track this stuff. You can also use a spreadsheet. You can use a Word document. You can just write it on a piece of paper, but you have to somehow track all the facts of what has happened in each of your chapters. Or you can go back after you've finished it, then read through again and highlight all the facts. That might take a bit longer, but it's just how you prefer to do it. The problem, though, is if you don't think about this at all, you might have to actually delete certain chapters if your information is conflicting. For example, if you have 3 chapters about how your character is an engineer, and you go into detail and all the engineering he's doing, and then a different chapter you have on how he's a teacher in a public school, and it's like, wait, that doesn't make sense. One of those things can't be true. So then you might have to actually delete your whole chapter on how he's a teacher, and that's such a waste of time to have to delete your whole chapter that might be beautifully written. Or you have to find some way to reconcile that. And I mean, I'm creative, but I'm not that creative, where you can't always make sense of things that just really don't make sense. Like, oh, he was an engineer and then a Martian came and changed him into a teacher. Like, I guess you could throw that in there, but it's probably not going to like make your story all that great. So it can end up causing a lot of trouble down the road if you don't think about your continuity and the facts in each chapters and how it makes sense and hangs together. So that's basically the tip I wanted to mention right now, because I found it's very hard to keep track of that, especially with my Kindle Vella story, which is the Oracle Ring, which is dystopian sci-fi. I have all kinds of facts in there about the Oracle Ring, what it can do. Is it really magical, or is it technology? And all the characters and their backstories and the facts of what's going on and which zone they're in and traveling to. And there's just a lot to keep track of, all these different rules that I've created, different laws of how this dystopian planet works. So it's hard to keep track of everything, which is why I started using a little cute binder, like a bullet journal, and divided it up into sections. And then I was using my mini printer to print off these lists of facts, which did work well, especially because then I can take that binder with me anywhere that I'm writing and just have it right there to have all the facts at hand. But I've also found that I like using a spreadsheet or even just a Word document and just having everything in there so it's all on one page or in one document. But it's just a lot to keep track of, especially in my dystopian sci-fi one. But interestingly, my other Vela story, which is kind of a light romantic comedy, it's still hard because you still have to remember all the characters and where they went and who they talked to and what they said and who they're friends with and what happened with the plot. You know, did they get the email in this chapter or that chapter? Are you talking about the fact that they received an email that they haven't even received yet because you actually didn't write that part yet? It gets really confusing. So I hope that was interesting for you. If you want to check out my Kindle Vela stories, I'll put a link below. And thanks for watching. And like I said, if you're interested in my other topics, I have playlists for those. And if you have no interest in writing tips, just don't watch these. And they'll go into my writing list playlist. And you can just watch my other videos. So thanks for watching, and please like and comment and subscribe if you would like more.